Hi, I'm Grant Rumley. I am the Goldberger Fellow at the Washington Institute. My first experience with the Middle East was growing up during 9/11 and the invasion of Iraq. I had family members that served in Afghanistan and Iraq, and when I was in college, I think I just took a keen interest in understanding that part of the world, and so I studied Arabic at Michigan State University. I studied international affairs there as well, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it until I came across a book early on in undergrad called The Missing Piece, and the book just kind of opened my eyes to what policymaking was. The way it was written was so engaging, weaving in both its personal experiences and events on the ground, and I just found the narrative so compelling, and that hooked me both on what policymaking is and was, and what the Washington Institute does. And so from there, it was always my dream to find a way to work here at the Washington Institute. I graduated from Michigan State University and moved to DC and worked in the private sector briefly for about a year and a half as a consultant, and it didn't take me long to realize I hated that and wanted to get back to the Middle East. And so in 2012, I enrolled in the Hebrew University of Jerusalem and their graduate program. It was a great chance to keep studying Arabic, but also to do some research on the ground. I spent a lot of time at Hebrew U in the West Bank, interviewing Palestinian officials, writing articles, and write a book on Abu Mazen, who doesn't have a biography on him for reasons passing understanding. That came out, and then, I'm sure you'd be shocked to hear, but I was pretty sick of writing about Palestinian politics at that point in time, and so I accepted a job in the Office of the Secretary of Defense, and I joined the department in April 2018. Just a few months before the department had released the National Defense Strategy, which described long-term competition with China and Russia as the top priorities. It was really a first-hand exposure to the world of great power competition, and so that's what sort of steered me into where I am today. At TWI, I tend to bring that OSD lens to our work on the Middle East, specifically on great power competition in the Middle East. I keep a close eye on defense and security issues in the region, whether that's arms sales and trade, or military operations, or security cooperation between countries in the region and outside the region. I've spent a lot of time looking at Russia's invasion of Ukraine and how it will impact the Middle East. Last year, for instance, I testified before the House on how the war will affect not just Russia's arms sales to the region, but also its military footprint in places like Syria. From the U.S. standpoint, we have two tracks with which we view great power competition in the region or pursue it. The first is with our partner countries and navigating their relations with our rivals, Russia and China. And the second is adversary countries like Iran and what their relationship is like with Russia and China. And so balancing the two and accounting for both of them is crucial to make an effective policy. When I worked in the Pentagon, I was in the Middle East Policy shop of the Office of the Secretary of Defense. I did a variety of jobs there, from working on Jordan and Israel and Syria to working in the Chief of Staff's office, but we were always focused on our defense partnerships, our posture on the ground, and our efforts to advance our security interests in the region and beyond. I relied heavily on the work of the Washington Institute. There's no shortage of inputs of information when you're in government, especially when you're in a bureaucracy as big as the Defense Department. I wanted the big picture. I wanted to know what folks in DC thought, but also folks who have been watching these issues at such a granular level for so long, what they were working on and what they thought of it. And so I was constantly consuming TWI products and in constant contact with my friends here to get their advice, to get their expertise, and to see what they thought on these issues as they were developing. And ultimately from there, that just helped me in government understand the issues at sort of a deeper level, but also I think helped others in U.S. government put forward ideas that were hopefully advancing our interests.